Do you feel like your Klaviyo account is failing to give you the revenue that you want? Does the fear of losing email and campaign automation revenue keep you up at night? In this video, I'll show you how to audit your Klaviyo account so you can fix easy mistakes and generate more revenue from low-hanging fruit and hidden opportunities. What's up, guys? Mark Milutin here. With over 15 years of e-commerce experience, I've helped hundreds of brands grow through effective retention and lifecycle marketing, and I'm here to help you too. Now, you may ask, why am I qualified to talk about this and talk about auditing Klaviyo accounts and in Klaviyo in general? I've been involved in email marketing over the last 15 years, specifically helping D2C brands at anywhere from the 6, 7, 8, and 9-figure level. We've even worked with some billion-dollar brands, worked with brands at all different levels, scale and grow through retention and lifecycle marketing. Back in 2016, I started my agency Breadloaf. That was almost 9 years ago. We have been a Klaviyo partner ever since then. We are one of the first Klaviyo partners to join the partner program. And since then, we've seen hundreds of Klaviyo accounts, and we've generated over $1 billion in revenue for our clients. That's $1 billion. And most of those brands are doing anywhere from $1 million to $40 million a year in revenue. So we're really good at diving into Klaviyo accounts for small and medium-sized startup D2C brands. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what our audit process looks like, what you can do to audit your brand the exact same way. We charge $4,000 for these audits, and they are worth every penny. Our clients love them. And it's the first thing we do when we start working with the brand. Before we even sign a contract to work with someone on an ongoing basis, we get these audits done. And like I said, our team has seen hundreds of these accounts. Not only have we seen hundreds of accounts in every single niche, but we actively operate and manage Klaviyo accounts for some of the best Shopify brands in the world. So with that being said, we're going to get into it and start breaking down our audit process. All right, so when we start our audit, the first thing we're looking to do is a full account overview. An account overview essentially gives us a snapshot at what's been happening over the past 30 days within your Klaviyo account, right? Now, we're looking at historical data that goes back further than 30 days. We're specifically looking at past 365 data, but from the perspective of understanding what's happening today and now and over the last 30 days, the 30-day snapshot gives us a good idea on what's happening. Within this 30-day snapshot, we want to understand what's the current revenue run rate coming in from Shopify in D2C overall, and how much revenue is actually contributing from Klaviyo. Now, within Klaviyo, you're most likely running email, right, as your number one channel. And most of the time too, the brands that are in Klaviyo now are most likely migrated over into SMS. But the first thing we're looking at is what's the percentage of revenue coming from email? If we have SMS as a channel, where's the SMS revenue? And third, if we have push and a TapCart app, we're also looking at what kind of automation set up there and what type of revenue is coming in from TapCart push as well. So within here, we want to understand what's the revenue per recipient. So how much revenue are we actually attributing for everyone that we're sending to? Then we want to look at how much revenue is actually coming from campaigns. Campaigns are going to be your weekly sends, right? You should be sending at least, 2 campaigns a week, up to 5 to 7, depending on what your revenue goals are and how big your list is and what you're segmenting and also what type of season you're in with sales. And then we get into flow revenue, right? So apart from campaigns, we want to understand how much revenue is actually coming from your flows. And then overall, we want to look at a channel by channel basis. How much revenue is coming total from email campaigns and automation versus SMS campaigns and automation overall. This business performance summary gives us an idea on where the brand is at today and what's happening tomorrow and fast forward over the next 30, 60, 90 days. Gives us a good baseline on where we need to start and go. And from there, once we have that snapshot, then we're going to get into flows, right? We're going to look at your top performing flows, and we want to understand on a fast 30-day basis, what's that total automation revenue and what's that coming back to individual flows. Now, when we get into the snapshots of the flows here, We want to understand what active flows you have running, how much revenue is each of those flows generating from you. Once we have an idea here, then we can start getting into the nitty-gritty and understanding where is there under optimization. Normally, you should be generating revenue from all of your flows, right? And there's an inverse relationship between how much you're spending on top of funnel paid traffic and how much your flows are actually doing in revenue, right? If you're not feeding top of funnel with new people into your ecosystem, then you're most likely not going to be filling up that welcome flow. You're not going to be filling up view cart, abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, and so forth, right? Customer win back, like all of these flows that we're looking for. If you don't have new people coming in, then the funnel is not going to be filled here on the Klaviyo automation side. So like I said, we want to look at that. And not only that, but we want to look at, hey, do you have any A/B tests that are currently being ran, right? We also want to see how many actually emails are being delivered within a 30-day period, because that'll give us a good idea on like where things are moving. And then we also want to look at the percentage change, right? When we're looking at past 30 days, how is that compared to the 30 days prior or the same period throughout last year, right? Is it up? Is it down? Where is it? And the biggest goal is what's the placed order revenue attributed to each of those flows, right? This gives us a good snapshot and an understanding on where things are at on the flows. And then as we get through the audit, we can get into the individual flows in more detail. Now we get into campaigns. It's the same thing on the campaign side. We want to understand how many campaigns were sent over the last 30 days. Typically, we want to see at least 2 to 3 a week, right? If we see that there's too little, we want to understand what's going on there. And the same thing, where are these things? Where's the open rate? Where's the click-through rate? And what's the placed order attributed revenue, right? These are super important stats because we want to understand how much juice is actually coming out of each campaign. We also want to identify what type of campaigns are being sent. Are they content features, promotional features? Are they product or collection based? Are they in seasonal based? Are they product solution, testimonial? Like what is actually being sent here gives us a better idea on where things are going and what the account looks like. From there, we want to get into the data. I want to understand how many profiles are active in the account. So when we go to the profile tab in Klaviyo, this will give us a breakdown of the total amount of profiles that are in an account, and then how many profiles are active versus suppressed. Now, the active profiles will be everyone that actually accepts marketing and we can actively send emails to. Suppressed profiles will be anyone that has unsubscribed or has bought in the past, come through Shopify, but has never signed up for email marketing, right? Just because someone comes through Shopify doesn't mean that they're going to be on your email list. We need that consent at checkout to make sure that that person is actually entering in properly. So we have total, we have active, and we have suppressed, right? I want to see, obviously, a good ratio of active versus suppressed. And a lot of times, if I see that the active profiles is too high and suppressed is barely nothing, it's probably told me that there hasn't been any list cleaning or management here. Well, that's one of the first red flags that I want to identify. The list most likely needs to be scrubbed. And we're also probably paying for people that shouldn't be on the list. Here's the thing with Klaviyo, you're actually only going to pay for active profiles. So if someone's suppressed, you're not paying for those profiles. Klaviyo is getting expensive and you want to maximize the return you're getting off the SaaS. And part of this audit too is also going to help you maximize the capabilities of Klaviyo overall. So with that being said, that's what we're looking for when it comes to profile counts in Klaviyo profiles overall. Next, we want to get into email list growth. I want to know what are the core lists that are generating revenue and what are the core lists that are actually growing month over month, right? This is one of the most important things I'm looking for within a Klaviyo account. And that's because if we're not growing the list, then what are we doing here? What's the point of doing all this if we're not growing every month, right? And if we're not growing, if we're dying, then we need to understand why are we dying, right? What's happening here? So when we get into the lists, what we want to look at is net new membership change month over month. And within that membership change, we want to understand how many people are coming through your front-end pop-ups, your newsletter footers, from your Shopify checkout, and from any other source like text to join on SMS, could be sweepstakes, could be other things that you're doing. But those three, pop-up, newsletter footer, and checkout, are going to be your three core. And then we also see what's becoming even more popular now is like Facebook leads. So if you're running Meta Shop and you got a lead offer on Meta Shop, you're probably generating some subscribers here. And everyone that's coming in through these inbound lists, another thing that we're just marking down, everyone should be entering into your welcome flow, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about the welcome flow should look like in a minute. But this is super important, guys. We want to see a healthy list growth month over month. And we want to see that there's an inverse relationship between ad spend and list growth overall. Super important. So we'll get in here. Now, it's super important that one thing that we look at is you want to have all of these new sources coming into one list. You don't want to have multiple different lists that have different things. Put everyone in here, right? That's super important. Everyone that's onboarded should be coming through into the same list. And it makes it really easy to see how many people signed up, how many people have bounced, how many people have unsubscribed, all in the same area. And we can look at net new membership, which is great. So within net new membership, like I said, we want to look at what's happening month over month, how many new total subscribers we're getting, and boom, we can see a breakdown of all of that. We run a couple reports, we put them into screenshots, and part of our audit process is we put that in there and then we discuss it when we do the audit review. So another thing that we're looking at with email list growth is the unsubscribe rates. Now the unsubscribe rate they call unsubscribe methods is going to come from hard bounces, spam complaints, unknown sources, APIs, like a lot of different ways that people are coming in and out. And obviously, this is the nature of email, right? There's a revolving open door where people are coming in. There's a revolving open door where people are unsubscribing and leaving. And that's the nature of this business, just like anything, right? People come and go, right? We want to make sure when people come in, we're giving them an incredible experience. And as they leave, we're scrubbing them and cleaning up the list so they're not staying on. Next, we want to look at SMS growth, right? Just like we look at email growth within the SMS list, we want to look at the SMS growth, and we want to understand the same thing. Where are people coming from, right? A lot of our clients too have brick and mortar locations, either 1 or 2 or 3 locations, flagship stores, or they're either running pop-up events. So we'll do a lot of text to join stuff. We'll even put text to join on like the different direct mail offers that we're running, add different activations and stuff like that. So we have a lot of different ways that we're opting in SMS, but the same thing here, right? We want to understand what's the sources. SMS is expensive, right? We got to buy credits every month for SMS. So we want to make sure we're maximizing the revenue as people come through there. So as we finish the list growth segment, then we're getting into the pop-up, right? What does the pop-up look like? What does your front-end pop-up look like? Is it multi-step? What's the offer? And this is where we give a full audit. The first thing I'm looking for in a pop-up is I want to see what is the opt-in rate, right? And a healthy opt-in rate is anywhere between like 6 to 12% of new website traffic should be opting in for your pop-up. And you should be running a multi-stage pop-up, really a 3-stage pop-up. Stage 1, put in your email. Stage 2, put in your SMS. And stage 3, you get the offer, right? Right there, we're going to activate an email and SMS welcome flows. I like to keep those flows both separate just so it's easy to measure apples to apples. People come in and they go into there. We want to see what type of offer, right? Every brand has a little bit of a different offer, but what's important here is that offer is converting, and if the opt-in rate is too low, it most likely means the offer is not that great and we need to change something around. Remember, we want to use an offer like we use bait when we go fishing, right? We want to throw that offer out and we want to catch people. We want them to sign up and we want them to join our list, right? That's the main objective here. Now, also in the pop-up, a couple things that I like to just be doing more and more now is I like to collect first name and email on the first page. I feel like first name is a nice little piece because we can start talking with someone with their first name through text-based personalized messages within a welcome flow. We've been incorporating more text-based messages into welcome flow now because, just sending the beautifully designed emails doesn't cut it now. People want a little more personalization, and it helps train the ISPs to actually recognize your domain as a verified email marketer. It's following best practices. Text-based messages are going to help with deliverability a lot. Next, we're going to go through a welcome flow. Typically, the welcome flow, our recommendations is that you have about 10 to 11 emails in a welcome flow. Now, those are going to highlight who you are as a brand, what you guys stand for, what are you doing, like overall, all of these things. And we put those recommendations. We'll also audit everything from the length of the email to the messaging, the creative, the CTAs, and we'll put together several recommendations within that flow. Next up, we want to get into browse abandonment, right? Same thing with browse abandonment, usually 2 to 3 emails. We usually separate them out from never purchased, first purchase before. Browse abandonment's super important flow. Abandoned checkout, another very important flow. Then we also have abandoned cart. Abandoned cart is going to be when someone is already in your database and they add a product to their cart and they fall off from there. Abandoned checkout is going to be someone actually started the checkout process and put in their information, and they got to putting in their 16 digits credit card and bounced from there. So next up is going to be post-purchase flow. We like to see around 3 to 6 emails in a post-purchase flow. We also like to run multiple post-purchase flows. So we like to run a first-time customer thank you, and then we like to run a repeat purchase, which is going to be like a second time, and then a VIP, which we really call when someone buys 3 or more times. And that's the workflow, just so we're separating out the customer journey from first purchase, second purchase, and third on from there. And, there's several other flows we're running. I'm not going to get into them all today, but I'll put a link to one of our previous videos that has some more information on what are all the flows that we include and that you should have included in this audit. Next up is email campaigns. When it comes to email campaigns, similar to what we've done through automation, we want to look at design, we want to look at messaging, we want to look at strategy. And this is where our team really shines, right? We're sending hundreds of campaigns a month for our clients, right? We put a lot of effort into here, and our team handles everything from the strategy and planning, from what's the offer, what's the concept, what's the brief, to who are we sending it to, right? What's the segment that we're sending to what's the design looking like, what's the messaging looking like, to building the campaign, to testing the campaign, to scheduling it at the right time, right? All of those things, and then reporting on it. A lot of data and a lot of experience to get into what campaigns look like and how do you maximize the potential of those campaigns, right? A lot of time, depending on what type of brand you are, we see some brands that are doing great with very, very little effort, but we come in there and we say, guys, what you could be doing if you maximize these opportunities here, that's low-hanging fruit, right? That's like going up to an orange tree that has oranges, a couple feet from the ground. They're really easy to pick, right? A lot of opportunity there. And this is where we love to shine, because that low opportunity is easy revenue, easy profit that you can be generating. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at. We also look at, when it comes to design, like what type of design is being used. A couple things that we notice is that a lot of times brands will overcomplicate a design. They'll also make them too long, and they'll jumble copy, right? They'll make it hard to read. The funny thing is, you can't design your way into more money in email marketing. Less is always more, and keeping it simple is always going to generate you more revenue and is going to be easy for the customer to comprehend and actually receive. Next, we get into email deliverability. Email deliverability, we have a world-class email deliverability team that actually runs these audits and that does it. Like, our analyst team are our deliverability specialists. And the cool thing about Klaviyo now is there's actually a email deliverability score that we can baseline where a brand's at any given time. What we're doing here is understanding where that score is lying, and that score is going to be generated by what's the open rate, the click rate, bounce rate, unsubscribe rate, and spam complaint rate, right? those are the really 5 different things that Klaviyo is going to use to really optimize and put those factors into what your score is. And then from there, we want to audit your domain. So we use a couple different tools to audit your domain to make sure that your DNS is set up properly, to make sure that you have a DKIM, DMARC, and SPF record, and to make sure that all of your other apps that are sending on behalf of your domain are also verified within that DNS. This is a pretty complex process that we've mastered, and I can't tell you how important that having your domain set up properly is important for email marketing now. February 1, 2024, the new email updates came up. That really changed the game. And these are things that we had been doing for years. So February 1 was not a big thing for us. If anything, it brought in a lot of new business for brands that didn't have this set up properly and had to get these things rolling. We were able to set these things up and really get them maximized as Feb 1 and the rest of this year moved on. And overall, monitoring your deliverability is something that you need to be doing weekly and monthly. It's not just something that you set it and forget it. It's a little mix of art and science, as your sending cadence and your email performance is going to ultimately affect how your email deliverability score changes over time. Like I said, you want to make sure that you've got multiple records on your DNS. We want to make sure that SPF record's set up. We want to make sure you have a DKIM record. We want to make sure you have a DMARC record with also a DMARC monitoring and DMARC policy set up. These are all kind of nerdy email marketing things, but they're so important. If you don't have these things set up, or you don't know if you have them, you definitely want to schedule an audit with us right now. Right now, we're giving away a couple of these audits for free. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this video, but schedule a call with us because this is really important. This is low-hanging fruit. And if you don't have this set up, your results are only going to get worse over time. So now what we've done, we've audited several parts of a Klaviyo account, right? At this point, what we do is we put together recommendations on everything we see. And these recommendations are just straight up action items and bullet points. Do this, boom, for everything we talked about. Once we're done with that, then what we do is we get into different channel opportunities, right? Most of the brands that come through are already running email. They might have SMS set up, might be sending 1 SMS a month. So we talk about our recommendations there, but then we get into other channel opportunities. We look at loyalty programs. We look at referral programs. We look at TapCart, which we're a partner with, which the reason we build TapCart apps and we want to layer in a new channel opportunity with mobile commerce so we can build push as another retention channel. On top of that, we also get into direct mail. We kind of give an audit opportunity breakdown of what direct mail can do for the brand and how you can integrate that into your marketing mix. And then from there, we build an implementation plan on what you need to do to really implement all of these suggestions and potential new channels. And then we give you guys a little breakdown on, if we're auditing you guys, give you a little breakdown on like how you should set up your team structure and who should be responsible for what. So this is how the audit process works, guys. It's not rocket science. We do a lot here, and that's how it works. So if you want to maximize your e-commerce business through advanced retention strategies, check out the link in the description below and learn how my team and I can audit your Klaviyo account today. Right now, we're offering $4,000 brand retention audits for free to qualified brands that use Klaviyo. If that sounds like something you're interested in, click the link below in this video and start the retention audit process. And I guarantee you will not want to miss out on this. And if you're eager to learn more, watch another one of my videos where I share more insights on how to create high converting email marketing tips for beginners. Love you guys. See you in the next video, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.